So, hi everyone, and Jim, thank you for introducing us, and thanks for getting this started. And everyone, thanks for coming. As Jim laid out, and as we've sort of announced, the punchline here is that this is an opportunity for all of our students in areas that can map into careers as software developers and battery developers for the EV industry to receive a $10,000 scholarship. That's a lot of money, and it will be treated as a scholarship. It'll flow through the university, but if you have no bill with the university, that money will flow through to you. So you can think of it as a state investment in a almost as a signing bonus to go work in a Michigan-based company. That's the punchline. The details and Jim and Kay will go through these in a bit more, are going to sort of talk a little bit about the structure of the program and what's expected. I will say that this is a really aggressive and very high visibility effort by the state to make sure that we are supporting Michigan-based EV companies. And I think it's potentially a very, very good opportunity for all of you, and especially something to consider. The state is trying to make sure that we remain the automobile manufacturer center of the universe, automobile manufacturing center of the universe. And as we go forward, the real critical supply chain issues for in particular, the EV industry is batteries and software. I mean, there's not a lot of vacuum pumps and things like that in an EV car. So that's the state is trying to pivot that way. We're trying to make sure that we can help provide that talent. And what this program will allow you to do is to learn about those sort of jobs. And if you decide to take one, get a little bit of cash in your pocket. So that's to sort of make sure that that's the big pitch.
To rather underscore that point and maybe make it even more real is that the state of Michigan has budgeted and in fact allocated $2 million this year for EV scholars, and MTU's share of that is significant. So the list of core employers, or what are called by the state of Michigan core talent action team employers, is there on the screen. I think they number 12. It's been a while since I counted them. That list is growing and changing on an as we go basis. More companies are expected to be added to the list, including companies that MTU may in fact recruit and recommend. So I'm talking about the list of employers. MTU is working with many of those companies today, and many MTU graduates, alums, work with them also. And it's our hope that those alums will be future mentors of our EV scholars. And as I said, more EV employers are expected to be added over the course of this year, including employers that MTU that we can recommend ourselves.
And so Jim makes a couple of good points there that I want to underscore. MTU has had a long history of providing talent into the automobile industry. There are more alums from Michigan Tech that work for Ford than any other university, for example, which is quite a little feather in our cap. another key point here is that we want to continue that, and we are working to expand the list of opportunities for our students. And part of the EV Scholar program will be to engage the scholars with the companies as much as possible. So you're going to get to have a sense of what the companies do and what work is like and what the culture of that company is like, before you make decisions on where you want to accept employment at. So it's an opportunity for the curtain to be pulled back a little bit. I think that's a really strong selling point. It's probably the strongest selling point in my mind, besides the $10,000, which is obviously the big selling point. In addition, Jim made another point that right now everything is in flux and we're building the plane as we taxi down the runway, so to speak. The state is trying to push this together in a relatively compact, short time frame. So a little bit of grace is requested, and working with us as we sort of figure this out, because we're putting this together in a relatively short time frame. The goal is to continue this program over multiple years, and in subsequent years, the state does plan on expanding it to other universities to participate as well. But they wanted to partner with the three that they thought were the most important now to pilot this out. And so that just gives you a sense of that. Yes, you are right. We are sort of putting this together. Things might change over the near future, but the long and short of the scholarship and the overall intent of helping our students understand what it means to work in the EV industry is constant, will be constant.
One point that I might add to that is, based upon Dennis's previous work, MTU has a particular interest in working with those EV employers in software development, particularly because much of that work can be done remote, which is to say, you can do work with those employers while being on campus and as a full-time student.
Yes, and we like to explore those opportunities, but for sure that's not required for this particular program as of now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We are working to provide all sorts of opportunities for both design engineers as well as software developers as we go forward.
Right. Student benefits, Dennis identified, and just to summarize, early and continuing access to participating EV employers, the opportunity to learn about EV and battery design and development, access to some scheduled EV Scholar events, as well as events that others within the school are offering, and networking with EV employers, not to mention the $10,000 scholarship upon acceptance of a job offer with an EV company, and as much as $5,000 for an internship. $10,000 in total.
And what does that mean? That means they get, if they did 2 internships, they would get $10,000, 5 each.
That language is rather opaque at the moment. They say $5,000 for an internship, a second $5,000 if a student accepts employment.
I see. Got it.
Is the language that they're using now. Who should apply? For sure, we've been talking to juniors and seniors, but as a practical matter, it's that time of the year that sophomores are looking to become juniors, right? And in fact, the scope of the program includes now sophomores, which gets to my request to you, actually, the student participants in the meeting. We want to build the cohort. So your assistance in identifying and helping to recruit others of your colleagues who might be interested in the program would be great. Great for the program and great for those students as well. And you can reach into sophomore class to do that. There's a listing of disciplines that are eligible, are qualified for the program. Software engineering, computer science, cyber, computer networking, electrical engineering, computer engineering, and we hasten to add other disciplines too pertaining to electric vehicles and batteries, not the least of which would be mechanical and mechatronics, for example.
So I would
Okay.
like to talk to you a little bit about the eligibility requirements for this program. First requirement is you need to be an eligible EV Scholars student. There's a very brief application that goes along to that. I think there are 6 questions. I've posted the link in chat. You can find it on our webpage. Some of you have found it at the bottom of the calendar invite. So if you take a few minutes to fill that out, we'd appreciate it. The scholarships are currently available to people who are completing their bachelor's degree. Now, there's some discussion, as you've heard, we're planning this as we go. We're trying to also include master's degree students. So those of you who are working on your graduate degree, go ahead and fill out that application. You do need to tell us that you have accepted a full-time job offer as outlined there. Oh, sorry. You need to be based in Michigan, and you will need to sign a letter of intent stating that you plan to stay in that job for at least 1 year. So that's the requirements for the full 10,000 as a post-graduation full-time job offer. You can you can also be earning an internship while you're still in school. So those of you who are not looking for full-time work, but maybe for a 1 or 2 semester internship, you have to be an active member, as before, working on your bachelor's degree, have accepted an internship with those job titles. You'll let us know that you've accepted that internship, and you have to sign the letter of intent indicating that you plan to complete the full internship. Again, you want to be based here in Michigan. So I talked a little bit earlier about completing the application. There's a short link there on the page, also in chat. And then one of the other things that you'll be required to do as part of this program is to attend different learning events. And that our first one is set up for 15 February, that's Wednesday, after Carnival, where you'll be meeting Denise Graves. Denise is partnering with both Michigan Tech and a number of other universities through the Talent Action Team, and she is the leader of that team. So she'll be able to spell this out a little bit more and really get you excited for some of the opportunities that exist.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we've taken a first cut at scheduling events for February, March, and April. I want to underscore that this calendar is a dynamic one. Our point is we wanted to provide lots of opportunities and a variety of opportunities for you to participate over the course of the term in the 10 hours that will assure your eligibility for the scholarship. But your participation, as well as the involvement of the outside speakers, is highly dependent in the moment upon their availability. We have our fingers crossed that Denise, in fact, is available on the 15th. And if she is, that's great. But if she isn't, we'll simply flex the schedule a bit as we go forward. some of the events you'll notice are scheduled, are checked. Those are events that, that we are trying to orchestrate, are working to orchestrate. Others of those events are opportunities for you. For example, participating as appropriate in the career development workshops that are provided by career services. As the schedule matures, and over the course of the next couple of weeks, we of course will keep you posted and provide updated schedules and calendars for us. As you review those events and the activities that are identified, if you have questions about them or suggestions, recommendations, please let Kay or I know, and we seek to accommodate as well as facilitate the design of the program.
So let me jump in here again.
Yeah.
Back to the we're building this ship, we're building this airplane as we taxi down the runway. There is not, the schedule is more flexible than we would like, but that's actually an opportunity for all of you. You will, if you're selected to be part of the EV Scholars, you'll work with Kay and Jim to sort of develop a plan for about 10 hours worth of engagement. And that engagement would be different, likely for student to student or scholar to scholar. Very likely that electrical engineering students will be doing events that are substantively different than, say, students from computer science. That's fine. That's appropriate. You would work with Kay and Jim on that plan. And if you make a good faith effort to do that level of work, then we're going to be very happy with that. In subsequent years, we're going to flesh this out. It's going to be a bit more structured, and maybe too strong a word, but we're going to incorporate building a digital portfolio with some reflection on what you do. And you might have noticed that there is a reflection memo at the end of this. So there will be some reflection from you as how everything fit together and what you got out of it. But it's not going to be sort of building that portfolio in the same way that we plan on doing in the future. So right now, as long as you're making a good faith effort, we're happy with that. And I know that the electrical engineering department is considering some opportunities for specific the ECE department for the students who are more on the battery side. And for sure, we're trying to develop a few things related to the software side. And one that I'm particularly excited about is programming little autonomous robot cars that have a variety of sensors that mimic what real EVs have.
This afternoon, Dennis, I took the opportunity to add, in addition to the reflection memo, an EV Scholars mixer for April, to in some ways celebrate our accomplishment and the accomplishment of all the participants in kicking off this initial cohort, if you will. And Kay, did I hear you say what numbers we're looking for the initial cohort?
Oh, I did not, but I would be happy to let
Nice.
everybody know that we are looking for a group of at least 40 students here at Michigan Tech. So let your friends know.
Let your friends,
and
let your
importantly,
friends know.
the state has that amount of money set aside for scholarships.
Right.
So one thing that's not been mentioned, and everyone's got their camera off. If you're a senior getting ready to graduate, turn your camera on and give a wave, because one, you need to celebrate that, but two, you have an opportunity to get a scholarship right away. So
Right away.
your camera, great, that's fantastic. So if you're entering into the job market in May, you could already qualify for if you get selected for the EV Scholars for the $10,000.
Underline and underscore.
So are we ready for what, Jim, are we ready for Q&A? Yeah, so Are there
Yes.
any questions from the audience?
I got an email from my advisor about this event that included a Google form, which looks like it's the same as the link that you sent. Is that fine if you filled out the Google form and not the website one?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, good
cool.
question. Same questions, different format. If you've already done one, please don't cross post. If you've already done both, I'll figure it out.
I had a question. So where is there a list of all the eligible companies that we could get an internship at or a job at? And if we already have an internship at a company and they aren't on the list, is there someone we should talk to get them on the list or?
Yes. Now, the current list that we have is on that slide 4 or 5 of EV core employers.
And Kay, can you share these slides with everyone?
Absolutely. We'll get
yeah,
those shared out tomorrow morning.
Right. Now, we may add, Roger, that was your question, right?
Yep.
So we can add to the, we can recommend that EV employers be added to the list, but we need to know who they are. And you can tell us that, and what's the nature of your work and the opportunity. While the company itself may or may not be what some would say an EV company, if in fact the work that you are doing pertains to EV and batteries, that could qualify, and we can make that argument to Michigan.
Okay.
Let us know. We need the information from you to follow up with that.
All right. How would you like me to let you know? Email or?
Email is great. And you have our email addresses.
And we have a question in the chat. It says the wording seems a bit confusing on the document. Do you need to convert to an electrical engineer or software engineer?
And great question. And the answer is no. So
No.
what the state is supporting are people who are going to accept jobs in battery development and software development, both within the EV space. Someone working in the battery space is likely to be an electrical engineer, although they might be a mechanical engineer if they're thinking about the thermal properties and thermal regulation of batteries, which is a real issue. If they're thinking about the materials that are involved in ions conducting around, so they actually might even be a materials engineer. If they're going to work in that space, it's not tied to the degree, it's tied to the position. And so the answer is no, you don't have to. And the software space is exactly the same. Very likely someone to be a software engineer going to work on software development, but computer scientists are just as likely to be working in software development. Some of our cybersecurity students or even our CNSA students end up going and do software development if they're doing that in the IT job. And when the wording that we're using here is a qualifying job offer, when you have that job offer, we will evaluate it and then make the determination if it meets the constraints that we're held to by the state of Michigan.
All right. Other questions?
We've got another one on the chat. Does it have to be software or battery related? Could it be powertrain, ECU controls for electric vehicles from one of the core companies?
Another really good question.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I probably going to disappoint you on this one for now. The state is specifically focusing on batteries and software development within the EV space, because that's where the companies that are partnering within this space have indicated they need to have the biggest hiring needs. And so this is really an incentive program that the state's investing in where we need new employees going forward. And so it is constrained by those two topic areas.
I have another question. So fill out the application. What is like the next step? Is there like a formal acceptance type of thing, or?
The short answer is yes, Kay. We have a letter of confirmation that we will send to you. Actually, we'll send to you and the state as well. And those letters are drafted now.
Okay, thank you.
But I think we can also share that as long as you were able to spell your name correctly and include your email address, you will be accepted.
I won't think I would quite phrase it that way, but we are definitely going to cast a wide net.
Please, please, please invite your friends.
Any other
I just
questions
want,
in the group?
Yeah,
I
Vasu.
I just want to confirm for the grad student, as Case suggested that they are talking with the peoples about the grad students. So like till when you will get the confirmation about this, so that I can just investigate after that. Like I'm a grad student, so
Yeah, so Jim, I know you've talked to Denise about this. What's the time frame for having some clarity on the role of the eligibility of grad students?
They are talking about it now, but that they haven't given themselves a time to inform the universities. I think there is an expectation that master's students will be eligible for the scholarship, but they haven't explicitly said that today.
With that said, Vasu and others, I encourage you to go ahead and apply, fill out the form. It doesn't take you very long.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we'll all keep our fingers crossed. Another point that we've not made, but it has a question that has come up over the past week or so is there a residency requirement or a citizenship requirement? And the answer is no. This program is open to international students as well. And so that's a good thing. And there's opportunities there. And so if, anyone who's an MTU student who maps into these spaces should be eligible.
And to underscore again a point that Dennis is making, and that came made earlier, the application process is open and it's ongoing, right? So we haven't passed any kind of a deadline. Please, please, please encourage encourage your friends to submit the application, which is to say complete that form that Kate provided. If there are no other questions, I propose to adjourn.
I'm gonna just say, I think this is a really great opportunity. If this is an industry you're interested in learning about, and I think it's an amazing opportunity if this is an industry that you've already decided you want to work in.
Yeah.
And so I encourage you, if either one of those describes you, then please apply. It doesn't hurt you to apply.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
See you next time, and we'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.